gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I wanted to do a short video where I start playing with my new Clionadh Cosmetics stained glass eyeshadows. I picked up 5 of them and they just arrived. So 4 of them are in this palette, and it's interesting because they all look like they're white, but they're not. They're multichromes. And the other one I picked up is starting to fall apart into little, maybe I can show you better this way. If you look here, you see that it's falling apart. So I have it in its own separate compact, so I can close the lid on it, and if little chunks fall out, I can get those without it starting to mix with other stuff. But let me show you what they look like. I got a little bit lost because I had not laid them out name-wise, and so I had to like re-swatch them all to make sure I knew which was which. This one here on the end is Gloaming. This is the one that is starting to break up in the pan a little bit. This one that's a little bit green is called Reflectance. This one that's kind of a peachy colored is Flicker. This one is UV. And this one here is Glimmer. It goes a little bit blue. So we've got kind of like a blue, a purple, a peach, a green, and I don't know. I feel like this one has the most color. It doesn't look like it on screen, but when I'm looking at it here, it's like, it's green, it's a little bit blue, it's got some interesting pinks and purples. I don't know. They're really fun. Let's see what some of these look like on the eye. The best way to make sure that these stay where you put them is to use an eyeshadow primer. I was reading up some instructions like stained glass collection formula application guide, and they're talking about either a glitter glue or an eyeshadow primer. I'm going to use this Pat McGrath Artistry Eye Wand today, and it's basically like a glide-on eyeshadow primer. I'm just gonna plop some of this on. I'm going to use the one that's a little bit peachy in tone, just all over this area. I have really been interested in trying products from Clionadh for a long time. I just haven't taken the time to order. And so they were having a sale for Black Friday. And they're a very, very small company. I think it's 2 sisters in Canada, and they're pressing them by hand. They're beautiful, but it takes a while. So I placed my order. I got them when they were on sale, and they didn't arrive until the last week of December. Placed the order the last week of November, and I think it was delayed because, first of all, they're a small company. They were having a sale. They probably had a ton of people placing orders, and they released the orders in the order they were received. So if you place your order, late during the week, you're going to be one of the last ones going out, and that was me. I was still trying to remind myself I didn't want to. Ooh, look at that. It's kind of peachy. At points, it looks even a little bit green. I'm going to put some on the other side. I've been trying to remind myself that I don't need any more single eyeshadows and that it's okay to enjoy what I have, but I'm trying not to go and buy like an entire new palette. And I thought that if I could get 5 different shades I could use on top. Oh, by the way, I do have this little lumpy bump on my eyelid. I know it's there. All right, so I really like the way that this looks, and I like that as I turn my face, you can see the way that the light catches and changes how it shows. The one thing I do want to do is I want to take a clean brush and just kind of go over this area. I don't want a super big, loud eye look today. Maybe I shouldn't have used these if that's not what I was going for. I'm going to add another layer of this just kind of in the middle, because what I want to do is I want to pat kind of like that crumbly one in Gloaming right over the top. I feel like every time I touch it, it shatters more. I mean, literally. All right, let's see what happens. What? Look at this. Okay, so I have a lot of fallout, and that's because I had way too much product on my finger. But I knew that was going to happen. All right, so I'm going to take a minute to kind of get rid of the fluff here. I'm going to see if I can be a little bit more careful on this other side. I think that because the product is already kind of breaking up in the pan, I got too much on my finger. I'm sure that this is going to be enough, and I'm not going to have the fallout I had before. I think there's a bit of a learning curve with these. I know that they're not pressed the same way most shadows are, but I didn't end up with the same fallout. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this one here in Reflectance and kind of tap it over the outside edge. I know that these are not, I'm not like deepening up a color. I just want to shift from one color to another on the outside edge for a variety. And I feel like maybe these are going to look best when they're tapped over a darker color. I think that's probably how I'm going to like these best. So I used 3 shades today. I started out with this one here in Flicker. I tapped on a little bit of gloaming over the top. That's kind of what's in the center of my eye. And then a little bit of this green one called Reflectance on the outside edge. I feel like it's not as successful as if I put them over a darker eyeshadow. Let me show you what I mean. Do you see how different they look when they're swatched over what is essentially just a medium brown shade? One looks more pink, one looks more orange. We've got some blue, purple, and green, and it's over something darker. So I never really had intended to record today because this little guy on my eyelid is totally bumming me out. But I wanted to play with my new stuff, and these new shadows from Clionadh really excite me. Now there are a lot of other shades. I picked up ones that were kind of in this range here, but as you can see, there's a ton of other Clionadh shades in their stained glass collection, and there are some really bright and vibrant ones. And although they're really beautiful, I know I'm never going to wear a blue like this or a green like this. It's just not in my nature. But something that can go from this, which is super interesting, to this, yes. And I probably will only use them one at a time, tapping over like the center of the eyelid, or maybe black all over and then just a layer of this on top. I really have been liking layering things. I am going to continue playing with these this month. I don't know that this is the most exciting eye look I'm going to be able to come up with, but I wanted to see what they look like without a dark base and maybe a couple of them together. That's why I have 3 of the shades on. I like the way that they shift from, you know, one shade to another. They have an interesting flip when the light hits them differently. But so far I'm excited and intrigued. Let me know if you've tried anything from Clionadh. Let me know if you have a favorite multi-chrome eyeshadow formula, or if you love a duochrome, what's the one that you go to? Because it was my discovering duochromes in my collection that really made me kind of go for this. But I would love to know if you've ever tried Clionadh. If you have a favorite indie eyeshadow brand, let me know what it is. Or if you are a fan of multichromes or duochromes, let me know if you have a favorite shade. Thank you so much for watching today. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.